Okay, so here we are. Thank you to the great Mike Cassizzi for sitting down with me. I think since I met you, I've been chopping at the bit to have this conversation to get a little bit of your story. Uh, Quick preface, Mike's 97 years old, going on 98 in October.
Correct.
And I think he just played golf a couple days ago, right?
Monday.
13 holes at Hendricks.
No, it wasn't Hendricks. It was Twin Rivers.
Twin Rivers?
Twin Rivers.
Well, so you played golf at 97 years old, going on 98. I think this is where we all want to get to. I want to be golfing at 97 years old. I mean, that's why I'm living as healthy a lifestyle as I can, working out a lot, aerobic, cardio, resistance training, eating as good as possible. And as a longevity chiropractor, that's the main thing I'm trying to help clients and patients with, is to live as long a health span as possible. Different from lifespan. Lifespan is from the day you're born to the day you pass away. Health span is how active and healthy you are through your life. And obviously at 97, you're still very active and healthy. And the way I met you was, well, first of all, today's my father's. You know my father a long time.
Yes.
Because Mike lives in Lyndhurst, goes to the same church as my parents. And I was volunteering this summer at the Mount Carmel Feast selling 50/50 tickets, and that's where I met Mike, in the same 50/50 booth. And the feast was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. I only volunteered Wednesday night and Saturday night, and he was there every night. And it was like 5 hours a night, up and down, kind of grueling. And I remember I first met him on Wednesday night, and we were talking, and I think you said, or I asked how old you are. You said, how old do you think I am? And I said, I think you're in your mid-80s. And you were like, no. And then that's when you told me 97 going on 98. And I started asking you. I was intrigued. So thank you for doing this.
Well, I kind of appreciate it in a way. I'm curious, but I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is your first podcast.
It is.
So you were born in 1925. 1925, and also Mike's a World War II veteran.
That is
out
correct.
of Europe, and that struck me. As my grandfather was, and some great aunts and uncles, and you don't come across a lot of fit World War II veterans these days. So you were born 1925 in Newark.
Correct.
And then were you drafted into World War II?
Yes. I had three brothers, all older than me.
Three older brothers.
Two of them, the oldest one, he didn't get into service, but the other two, they volunteered.
Mm-hmm.
My one brother, he volunteered. He was a pilot, and the other one volunteered into the Seabees.
Seabees
is the like a construction.
Yeah.
They landed in Guam. Mm-hmm. And they built an airfield there. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that they did. Whatever else.
Yeah.
I didn't volunteer. I was drafted, and so I was drafted. But I was lucky in a way. I was in the States. This was during the war. Mm-hmm. I was in the States a year before I went overseas. Mm-hmm. Because I took basic training in Camp Landing. Then I took advanced radio training in Fort Benning, Georgia. And then I had what they call a delayed en route. I went home on a 10-day furlough, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But from there, I went over to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And then I was assigned to an outfit there. And I went overseas to France and Germany. With that outfit.
Wow. So you were over there.
I was over there in 45. January of 45 is when I...
20 years old fighting over there.
That is correct.
Amazing. The greatest generation, as they say. So then you got back, and so you got married?
Well, I didn't know my wife when I was in service, but yes, then I came back and met my wife, and she was the greatest thing in my life. Mm-hmm. She blessed my life so much. I married an angel, really,
Yeah.
and I lost her. I lost her
She
15 years ago.
rest in peace. 15 years ago.
Mm,
Yeah, it must be tough
mm,
after that
mm.
long. So, and then now we're in Lyndhurst. You were telling me you moved into this house in 1954,
Correct.
which is around when my mom moved into New Street, the street I grew up in. So you moved here from Newark. Yeah.
I was born in Newark. I met my wife, who lived in Jersey City,
Mm-hmm.
and we got married, and we lived in Jersey City 5 years before we came here.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so obviously, as far as health and wellness and how fit you are, I assume as a kid and when you were in World War II and after that, I guess you got back towards the end of the 40s. Hobbies growing up? Do you play a lot of sports? Were you always kind of a healthy kid? Did you have any bad habits like drinking a lot of alcohol or smoking cigarettes?
I never smoked in my life.
Never smoked in your
If
life.
you can
Yeah,
put
it's huge.
cigarettes together, puffs that I put together,
Yeah,
you wouldn't get one whole cigarette.
yeah, yeah. And that's amazing, I think, because my grandfather, Angelo Alice, I don't know if you knew him on New Street, he smoked, I think he was in the Pacific in World War II, and the story was, I think he smoked a pack or 2 packs a day, and then, the whole time I knew him in the 80s growing up, he had hardening of the arteries, diabetes, atherosclerosis, heart disease, and he never had any kind of health. Like, he was basically in a chair and, had to get his leg amputated in the early 90s.
Wow.
So, and obviously the smoking had to play a big part. And then I know I asked you about alcohol, and you said you never were a drinker, like you never got drunk, but you have a glass of
That
wine
is
every
correct.
day.
Every evening with dinner, I have a glass of wine.
Every dinner, a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Red or white?
Red wine.
Red, of course.
You want a glass?
Like a true Italian. Not right now. No. I don't drink much anymore. Once in a blue.
Uh-huh.
But that's great. So a glass of wine every night with dinner without fail, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and how about, so you had 3 older brothers and no children?
No, we had no children. I'm sorry that we missed that, but
Yeah.
you know what it was. My wife had a tremendous fear of some things, and at one time we didn't know she was pregnant, and she had a miscarriage. And when we went to the doctor, she told the doctor what happened, and the doctor said, I believe you had a miscarriage. Well, she went into tears.
Yeah.
And the tears, there are 2 kinds of tears. One of sadness or one of fear. Hers were tears of fear. Even though it's after the fact, she had fear that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I knew especially from that point on, that, we wouldn't have children.
I could imagine that
But
has to be,
I loved her so much. That didn't bother me then. I'm sorry now, of course, but that didn't bother me now. I had her, and that's...
Well, yeah, and you played the round of golf a few days ago with your nephew.
Yes.
Who lives in South Carolina?
He lives in no, he lives in Florida.
Florida.
He has two. That you're on me.
That's your timer up there, I think. It's
okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, what did I say again?
We were talking about your nephew lives in Florida.
Yeah, he has two. He lives in Florida full time now. That's his main residence, but he also lives in Maryland.
Well, anyway, so you're gonna have a new golf partner because we're gonna. I said, especially after this interview, we're gonna play 9 holes together. Because
that'd be fine.
I'm not exactly long off the tee, as they say.
Nor am I anymore.
So
either.
with you teeing off from the golds and me from the whites, it'll be debatable on who hits the ball further. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. I'll be your driver on the cart. But all right, so getting into how about exercise through your life, like especially middle age and older, like from your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. Because what I always tell patients and clients is, I always say the mark of a good workout it's a little hard to judge. There's a lot of different workouts we do. You know, some people in their 40s work out very, very hard, like they're playing a collegiate sport or high school football. And then, like me at this point, I've had some chronic injuries, so I work out from more of a moderate standpoint because I always tell people I'm in the business of trying to preserve my cartilage because cartilage wear and tear, that's really degenerative arthritis. That's where a lot of people have bone on bone and need a knee replacement, a hip replacement. So anyway, obviously from an arthritis standpoint, and we all become arthritic as we get older, it's called degenerative arthritis, but obviously from an arthritic standpoint, you're way ahead of the game because you're able to be as active as you are at 97. Now, exercise, I know your generation wasn't big into going to health clubs. It wasn't popular back then, and lifting weights like my generation, so on and so forth. I think Jack LaLanne was really like a pioneer with weight training. So what was your exercise regimen? I think you told me you go walking every day, but how's that been for you over the years?
Well, earlier on, I walk now. I'm walking every day in my driveway. Today, I walked 3/4 of a mile in my driveway, just back and forth.
So you don't want to go up the sidewalk? Up and
No,
down the sidewalk.
I don't. I started staying in my driveway during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I'm getting my distance back and forth anyway. I don't need to go to the park and walk around. So I walk. Sometimes I'll do 30 laps back and forth, which is like 3/4 of a mile.
Okay.
You know? So, yeah, and I did some today again.
And that's every day without fail?
And except Sunday.
Except Sunday.
Yeah, and not, you know, it sounds like, you know, oh, Sunday is a holiday of rest, so he doesn't. Yeah. No. I found that when I was at one point, I got to the point when I was walking 7 days a week, I was starting to feel fatigue. And I said, well, I started out with giving up 1 day of walking. Yeah. And so that day was Sunday. I said I'll walk Monday to Saturday. And it worked out. I'm still working Monday to Saturday now, walking Monday to Saturday now.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, I think any same modality like walking, biking 7 days a week is a little too much.
Yeah.
A lot of patients will come in and they'll say they're biking or jogging 5 days in a row, and I try to tell them, and they're not doing like floor exercises like core strengthening, crunches, sit-ups.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah, so you never really did any of that stuff, and still nothing like that. Have you ever been to physical therapy for anything?
No.
A genetic marvel you are. Amazing. So just all the walking, and then how about your diet over the years? Like what's your typical day of food?
Oh, I eat. When I say a lot, I'll eat beans and pasifazul and stuff like that. Yeah. I eat lentils and rice. You know, I have at least one of them each week, at least one, and of course I have pasta also, and I ate a lot of chicken. I don't eat any red meat.
Chicken, no red meat. A lot of chicken. Fish.
Only the frozen stuff. I don't go to the fish market and buy fish. Yeah. So I get fish fillets and I heat them up in the microwave, and yeah, I eat fish too.
How about fruits and vegetables?
I'm sorry to say, and I wish I did more of that, I don't eat that much of fruits and vegetables. It's just you know, the shopping part of it, or you know.
So do you prepare your own food?
Yes.
And I saw, as I pulled in, I saw in the backyard there was about 3 garbage bags or garbage cans filled with like sticks and stuff.
Yeah. My nephew and he was here early this week, and he did it for me, really. I have a tree in the back.
Yeah.
that the branches were kind of low,
Mm-hmm.
and he's taller than he's like you,
Yeah.
and as he walked under the tree, he had a bend. So we got the clipper, and he clipped and clipped, and all those branches that you
Oh,
see
okay.
out there
I thought
as a
maybe
result of what he
I
did.
thought maybe you were doing your own yard work there.
No, well, I have to put it out for garbage eventually, though.
Well, also as far as exercise, I know when we were speaking at the feast, you said you play bocce
Yes,
couple days a week,
2 days a week.
2 days a week bocce
Yeah.
in Lyndhurst.
Yes.
And you said at 97, you're the oldest there, and the second oldest
Is about 82 now.
82. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got him by 14 years.
Is that the bocce ball courts in the center of town near the
Yes.
firehouse?
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with it. And behind the town hall,
Mm-hmm.
there's this little park area.
Yeah.
And in one end, at the back end,
Yeah.
they have 2 bocce courts there.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, they just redid them again, so it's in even better shape now than it used to be. And ironically enough, uh, I started because I played bocce when I was a child. My
Mhm.
father would play the bocce, and I played bocce when I was a child.
Yeah.
So here in Lyndhurst, I continued playing bocce. It was down in the parks on Riverside Avenue.
Yeah.
And then they built 2 bocce courts now behind the town hall. And that's where we play bocce now. There's 2 bocce courts there.
Mhm.
And Tuesday, right now we're playing Tuesday and Saturday.
Now, do you have any other, besides the walking and bocce, any other like hobbies, activities that are kind of physical in nature?
Well, I used to play golf twice a week, right? And now, unless I have a partner, I don't go alone. I don't play. When I was younger, I'd go to golf course alone.
Yeah.
Team up with you and whoever,
Yep.
As a matter of fact, my favorite golf partner I met at the golf course. I went there. There were threesomes standing there waiting, and I said, "Can I join you?" Yes, and yes, we did. And this one fella, I joined the 3 of them, and we were a foursome.
Yeah.
After that, and when each one after the other, one passed away, the next one passed away. Then it was just he and I, and now he passed away about 3 years ago.
Wow.
And they were all younger than me.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know.
I'm sorry, one was older.
Yeah.
Then.
So one big thing when it comes to health span, lifespan, longevity, comorbidities is a big thing. Obviously, there's a lot of, I don't know what the percentage is of adults in this country that have diabetes, whether it's type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, high cholesterol. It's very high. Those are comorbidities, kidney issues, and that's a huge factor for lowering lifespan, basically. Now, how have you been? Any of those issues? Have you had any of those issues over the years?
Yes, yeah.
What?
Well, in 1996, I had coronary bypass surgery.
Coronary bypass.
Right. And now last year, I had a heart valve replacement. And when they replaced the heart valve, they went into my arteries. So I have a pacemaker now too.
Gotcha. Pacemaker. What are you on? Are you on medication for anything? Or not much?
No, I take an aspirin a day, and
aspirin a day.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I mean, my father takes an aspirin a day.
Yeah,
that's pretty standard.
And let's see, I take this is medication. I don't even know what it's for, but it's.
Let's see, rosuvastatin.
Yeah.
Rosuvastatin.
I take
calcium.
two of it.
Yeah.
Isosorbide and
mononitrate. Yeah, I guess having to do with the heart, obviously. The
Yes,
the statin, um,
they're statin drugs. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
having to do with cholesterol. That's good. So it's not like I know some people they're on so many medications. You know, if you're taking two,
Thank you.
knock on
Mm,
wood, it's pretty good. So what about high blood pressure?
thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Blood
thank you.
pressures have been good.
Pressure's good.
Yeah, and I think really from what I learned, and this is the lightest weight I've been in as an adult, 156, and my I feel great. I mean, much more active than I was like even 3, 4, 5 years
Mm.
ago, and much less aches and pains. But I think the fact that you're slim and fit and do all the walking, it seems like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure is well, preventable more so type 2 diabetes, but blood pressure, I think a lot of people, if they lost as much weight as they can and exercised every day, like you are, I think you could get yourself off a lot of medications,
I believe that.
depending
Yes.
what the cardiologist, from
Yeah.
everything I read
Yes.
and come
I
across.
believe that.
Um, so, in junk food, you eat a lot of junk food, cookies, cake, ice
Yes.
cream,
Yeah.
candy,
Yeah. Ice cream. I have a container in the freezer right now. Want some?
only on the weekend. What's today?
uh,
Thursday?
and the cookies down there. There's cookies.
Oreos, my
Oreo.
favorite.
Yep.
So it's funny you say that. My snack on the weekend is ice cream, and I learned from the podcast with the nutritionist I was showing you that ice cream isn't as bad for you as like cake, donuts, muffins,
Uh
because a
huh.
lot of that stuff has hydrogenated fats, where ice cream is just saturated fat or monosaturated
Uh huh.
fat, which isn't as bad. But what type of ice cream do you eat?
Chocolate and vanilla.
Nice. Yeah, my go-to is chocolate. Um, how many times a day? How many times a week do you have ice cream? About
Every night.
every night.
Yeah. I don't. I don't. Ironically enough, as much as I like it, I don't binge on it though.
Yeah,
And because I'm alone,
yeah,
I just scoop it out of the container.
right out of the container.
And if I had my wife with me or something,
Hmm.
then I would scoop it out. But
That's what my mother does when my kids have. It's a joke when we open the ice cream at my townhouse, and you could see somebody carved around, and there's like an island of ice cream in the middle, and they say, "Oh, Mima was here." Um, and then as far as today, I think I was telling you before, August 24th, 2023. It's my father's 80th birthday, ironically.
God bless him.
And now you know him a long time from the church,
Yes,
from the men's group,
yes,
Rotary Society.
right, right. As a matter of fact, uh, I also know, I hadn't mentioned this for a long time, that I think I know a cousin of his
Hmm.
down in uh, uh,
Jersey City?
no, down in below Perth
Down,
Amboy.
oh, down like, what's that town? Long Branch?
Not
Over
that
there?
far down.
No?
Yeah. Uh, her name was Angie. She's long gone now.
Hmm.
Angie Pegnatari. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pignataro.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Rings a bell.
Yeah. They were friends of ours.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think I would say the most important things that you're doing, the exercise every day. That's the cardio, aerobic walking, which is strength training in and of itself because
Mm.
you're walking. Um, your diet seems really good, and social life. I know that's a big thing that comes up with longevity. You're pretty involved in the church. I mean, 'cause you were
Yes. Yes.
volunteering
Yes. I
uh,
belong to the Holy Name Society.
Holy Name Society.
Yeah.
Um, how often do you go to church?
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday, and then of course the bocce twice a week.
Right.
That's a social situation, which
Right.
is
And they
physical.
play bocce, and as long as the weather permits, they play.
Yeah.
It could be in December even.
Any other social circles around here that you're involved with?
No, I can't think of any.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think this is pretty good. You have any questions for me?
Will I make money on this?
We'll see. Hopefully, maybe I could send this to CBS and NBC, see if they want to pick it up.
Yeah, whatever.
But we'll definitely.
You're going to give me a copy of whatever you.
Yeah,
can.
it's a link, so it'll be on YouTube, and that's it. So listen, Michael, thank you. I really appreciate it. The honor was mine.
The pleasure was.
Let's dance in style, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not?